Very good. Keep it going for a minute there. Thank you, Sean, for the lead-in music and all the other music that you have been sending over and that I've been enjoying. Are we on with Chris? All
Hey,
good to go. I don't see you, Chris, but who cares? I'll see you on the other thing. So, Chris, how you doing?
yeah, I don't see myself either. That's kind of weird. I only see
Oh,
you.
there you are. There you are.
Okay.
Looking good. I
Oh,
mean, even though you've probably been in outer space lately,
I
but
wish.
it looks like you're no worse for wear because of that. Now,
Yeah.
earlier in the show, I did remind people who you are and what a wonderful financial planner you are, but we can't really talk about that yet
Yeah, not the details.
because
Yeah, thank you.
of some compliance issues. And I also reminded people that if they want to save about $100,000 on sending their children or their grandchildren to school, higher education, you are the one. You are the grand master.
Yes, I am. Thank you.
So,
I
you're very welcome.
did that since we talked.
So we can talk about that if you like, or any other subject, because I
Oh,
know that you and I love to talk about conspiracies and that kind of thing. So I'm ready. So I'll let you. First of all, you should probably just introduce yourself and tell us people about yourself a little bit,
okay.
and then we'll go.
All right, Chris Bissonnette. I was actually, my parents are Canadian. I was born in Puerto Rico. I grew up in Arizona and live now in Southern California, Irvine, where I'm a 20-year financial planner, and I specialize in showing people how to get $50,000 gifts and grants to college. That's my kind of number one focus. And I'm a big fan of the truth. And so that's why I like meeting with you to talk about conspiracy truths, because
Yeah,
all these theories always turn out to be true. So,
yeah. Well, we call them conspiracies until most of the people agree that's that. It's just like people talk about things that are paranormal, but if they happen, they're no longer paranormal. They're normal. So, that's great. So I know we have in the past talked quite a bit about Stanley Kubrick, etc., and
yeah,
the great movie. So
there was a released video, which I might have sent you, which was like a deathbed confession that I had never seen, like a 7 or 8 minute interview
wow,
where he admits it on camera.
wow,
Yeah, it was like he's like, I have to tell you. And so that's actually, I don't know, I would consider that a truth at this point, that Kubrick filmed the moon landings, and there's video of him saying it.
wow.
Yeah,
All I can say is wow.
I know. I thought
So,
it's,
so whether you believe that or not, the conspiracy type messages that are talked about in The Shining are so interesting
yeah, there's no,
and entertaining.
the fact that he changed the hotel room number, and
Yeah,
I guess the author didn't understand why he made these changes, and it was to corroborate, the some ties to the moon landing, room 237, right? I think is what.
exactly. And that's how far the moon is from us.
So at this point, I know it's hard. See, the hard part for people to wrap their heads around is that the United States would have faked going to the moon. And most Americans don't know that the United States went to the moon 9 times and landed on it 6. To me, if I were to hear that now, that almost sounds like a conspiracy theory, because we went 9 times, like what, and we haven't gone back. That just sounds fishy.
That's what bugs me most of all is that we haven't gone back and we had the wherewithal to do it. And you hear, oh, we couldn't afford it. Well, they didn't take that money and put it in bags and put it on the ship and drop it on the moon if they actually went to the moon. The money is spent here and would really bolstered our economy during those days whether we actually ended up there or not, it still really bolstered our economy.
Uh-huh. Interesting.
So, and why haven't we been back? I don't know.
I've heard, well, the recent one the United States put out was we're going back to the moon in 2024. You probably heard this about 2 years ago. I've heard recently that's going to be pushed back. Now, why? Well, I mean, I've heard it's because they destroyed the technology to go. I've heard that is one reason. 2, the Van Allen radiation belt.
Yeah.
Which that's why the shuttle couldn't go through it. And then 3, expense. So I just think I'm not really sure if we could go today. And here's the reason. You look at these billionaires launching rockets into space, right? Supposedly. Do you know how far they go up?
Not very.
Not very. They go to the Mir space station, right?
Yeah. Well, or the International Space Station at the. Yeah, I get it mixed up too. Yeah.
Called Mir. And how far is that up there? Do you know?
The exact distance, I don't know, but it's probably low Earth orbit, correct?
Miles, okay? So you're telling me 50 years ago we could go 99% farther. A lot. 9 times, no. And now today we're celebrating that people can go to the Mir space station. Give me a effing break. Come on.
Yeah. I heard, and I wish I could remember what show this was. It was a documentary on this newest company. I forgot what the name was. Do you remember Nasanelli?
Yeah.
But they had a spokesman on it who mentioned that we are going back to the moon and to Mars.
Well, yeah, they said that. Trump said.
Was that a slip, or was that just silly?
No, I
saying
heard
we're going back to Mars.
Well, Trump had promoted that we were going to go to the moon and then to Mars.
It's the back to that got me.
Well, maybe that was the slip up. I don't know. Maybe they can go now, and there's because I've heard there's secret technology and there's like
believe me,
war. Yeah. I've heard some crazy stuff, but I just find that interesting. You really think today with these new technology that they could go into space? Why aren't they really going into space? Why are they just going up the exosphere? It's not really into space. Is where these new rockets are.
And like I said before, I'm just not buying the we can't afford it thing, because that money is all spent right here.
Yeah, that sounds like a lame excuse. If we can send a gazillion $billion to another country, I think we can afford to, do that. We'll see. What else is on the conspiracy agenda?
God, there is so much. There's the Kennedy assassination, which I just went over the Nick Redfern book, who talked about that the assassination was based on UFO information and him wanting to share that information with Russia, and the CIA being all upset about that.
I heard that one too. I heard that a little bit. That was one of the reasons they killed him, was that he wanted to splinter the CIA or a million bits. He didn't want to go to war with Vietnam.
Yeah.
So just, he wasn't going along with the evil agenda, and that's why they took him out. And I think now, to me, there's a few things that really corroborate that. But one is there's audio of a police officer who had his thing recording, where I believe they recorded 6 shots. And if you can record 6 shots,
where'd the other 3 come from?
Because there's more than one person. And that was the whole thing. That's with the conspiracy. There's more than one person. And so that's fact, that there was at least. And then I also heard recently that if he made it through that area, that little grassy knoll area, there was another spot where there was like 3 shooters, I heard.
Wow.
So there were a lot of people to take him out. I've seen some deathbed confessions, and obviously.
Yeah, me too.
I think that should be almost proven fact that, and here's the thing with that. You know who was in charge of the CIA at the time?
I probably have forgotten, but I kind of.
George Bush Sr.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's correct.
So no offense to him, but he's not really a good person, a real good guy in a lot of things. So.
No kidding. But, and it's been said that of all the people, that everybody who was alive then, you're probably too young,
I wasn't.
um, remembers exactly where they were. And I remember where I was. I was at Anaheim High School on the second floor, right near my locker.
Uh-huh.
And remember lockers? Wow. Anyway,
I had a locker.
yeah. So I remember all of that. But they say that the only person who can't answer that question who was alive was George Bush.
What was the question? Where were you? Oh,
Yeah.
he can answer that. I
Yeah.
saw footage that looked like he was on the street. Like they said that looked
Yeah.
like he was on the street at the time. But they also, I saw a thing about the JFK assassination. There was like a witness or someone, and he got a visit by the CIA and then died. And after he died, they found a business card in his pocket, and it was George Bush's from
Wow.
the CIA. Paid him a visit.
Well, what I want to know is why. I mean, they took him off to the military hospital instead of the one that they originally went to.
So
and,
many.
And apparently his brain is not, I mean, you can't find it.
It's
anymore.
still missing. I remember there were comic books on his brain, like it was such a. But yeah, I've seen the autopsy stuff, and then there's shots from the front, and there was just so many things they messed up on that just know it was a cover up and the whole thing. But I shared with you the photo, right? Did I tell you about that? A lady took a Polaroid. Did I tell you that?
No, I don't.
Okay.
So tell us.
So quickly as the guy, as he was cruising by in the famous Zapruder film, on the other side of the street, a woman took a Polaroid picture right when the guy fired from the grassy knoll. And you can literally see a guy dressed as a cop, two other people standing next to him, and they call it the Mormon photo, which you can Google.
Wow.
And it's
I will.
And to me, it corroborates the whole thing, because what they did is they went back and looked at the Zapruder film, and you can literally see the guy's ear kind of, or as part of his head where he was at in that Polaroid. Isn't that fascinating? So to me, that was kind of done, that the Mormon photo is.
And in this book that we just.
The guy's called Badge Man because he's dressed as a cop. Go ahead.
This one, like I said, I went through this Nick Redfern book, and he talks about, one theory is that the what do you call it? The one of the people that were supposed to protect him, the Secret Service, one of those guys actually had this weapon that would blow part of his brain out, and that he turned around, and you can actually see it on some of the video. I haven't looked at it, but that the CIA made sure that that was absolutely the end of him, and that's one reason perhaps the brain is not found.
Well, I think they removed it. Our autopsy is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I think I mentioned once when you were on a book called Dr. Mary's Monkey.
Yeah, I think.
Did you? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to order it through Amazon and have it sent to you.
Okay.
It's pretty interesting, and it's pretty much all fact. Now, at the end.
And what's it about?
Theory. It's about the JFK assassination, but about the whole connection between Ferry, David Ferry, and the head of the Cancer Association that was all working out of New Orleans at the time, and they were trying to get some kind of a virus that would in turn cause cancer, that make people die pretty quickly. And guess what? There was a lot of people died of cancer pretty quickly after that. But part of that was Oswald worked with these people, and Oswald would pick up these rats that David Ferry had thousands of in his apartment and take them over to these doctors. And it's kind of a connection with all of these people.
What a trip. I've never heard this.
Well, yeah, well, I'll try to, because I know it's...
Ferry character from the JFK movie. Blonde-haired guy, kind of flamboyant. I think I remember that.
Yeah, but, you know, this is stuff I had never heard before. And in the end, there, in the theory portion of the book, it talks about how Oswald could have actually been a CIA operative working under JFK's brother.
I believe it. He was part of the CIA. He was a
And
total.
that's why none of that came out, and one of the reasons why the brother was taken out also.
Yep. Yeah, by Sirhan, which was, I think, mind control. I think he
I
under a trance and he killed him. That's what I think.
Yeah, I
They
think
actually
so
argued.
too. Now that part I really think so. Are you familiar with the Montauk issue? Okay, you need to look on YouTube at least, or other places, Amazon, and look up some documentaries about Montauk. Montauk is at the end of Long Island,
Okay.
and it was a Camp Hero, and underground there is where, now this is fact, part of this is fact, and then we can go from there, but that's where all of this MK Ultra and a lot of these other things, and they were supposedly kidnapping children, teenagers, mostly boys,
Okay.
at least 100,000 or more of them,
Uh-huh.
and putting them through this mind control kind of thing. And there's also stories about time travel and things like that. And if you're familiar with Stranger Things on
Familiar with it.
Netflix, Stranger Things, the working title was Montauk.
Oh, so it's based on their experiment.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's really interesting. Isn't there something like a Lime Island over there too?
I think you're right, but I don't
I think that
remember.
might be close too, and that also is supposed to be a government facility testing new things, and that's where Lyme disease, they said,
Ah,
came from. Was the
uh,
U.S. government created it?
and
But right close to there.
yeah, and so much also with the Kennedy assassination and the Dr. Mary's monkey, that talks about the connection to the polio vaccine, and one of the reasons that they can't talk about that too much. And it's pretty fascinating, that is for sure. And I just hope in my lifetime we really get the absolute truth. It's tough. It's going to be tough to
Well,
get.
I would say though, with these Freedom of Information Acts,
Mm-hmm.
you get a lot of info. I'm always
Yeah.
surprised what's released because it's real
Yeah.
info, and like UFO or whatever, Majestic 12 stuff, and
Yeah.
booking that.
Exactly.
I'm actually kind of surprised that a lot of the stuff does get released.
Yeah. I'm surprised that that stuff from Lou Elizondo, and that became released, or he helped get the top secret
Videos.
indication off of those, and we have those videos now from the Navy.
Oh, you're talking about like the UFOs
Yeah.
spinning orbs, where they released like 4 of them and admitted we don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what it is a lot of these countries finally came out and said the reason why they've denied it is because they don't know what they are, and it makes them
Yeah.
look vulnerable as a defense. But now it's kind of like all these countries have come out and said, hey, there are UFOs that, in some countries like Spain have released footage. So the UFO finally said, hey, we found 4 of these spinning
Yeah.
orbs, right? What are they?
Yeah.
We don't know what they are.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, in World War II, they had those red orbs.
Yeah, the Foo Fighters.
Yeah, so they were orb as well, but they were red, I guess, that would follow.
Right.
So
Yeah.
what are these things? It doesn't look like it can hold a person, or they're really small, some of them too. It's a trip.
I know. Now, I think I've mentioned my experience with orbs. Did I ever tell you about that?
Is this on LSD?
No, no, but thank you. No, it was not. This was in Taos, New Mexico, and of course, Taos has reputation. So, what came first? The idea that you're in a supernatural area, or the thing. But This happened how many years ago? Well, not more than 10 years ago, probably.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we were at this hotel, in this hotel room, and we were there for a week because I love Taos. And I woke up, as I always do, to go to the restroom. And I was getting out, it was the middle of the night, and this is why to me, it's not sleep paralysis, because I was moving. I was actually moving.
All right.
And I turned around and I saw this, probably the size of a tether ball, or a soccer ball.
Okay.
absolutely round. You could see the shading on it. It was absolutely round, and it was a very, very bright green, like an emerald green.
In the room.
Inside the room, and it was traveling from the right to the left in the room. And as soon as my eyes locked on it, it stopped, and it went so fast back where it came from, and you could see it go through a slot and disappear. Now, I have a good imagination, but not that good.
That's fascinating. I would like to know what that was.
And then my wife saw a similar one a couple nights later in the same room.
Oh,
So,
yeah, wow.
I know.
If that area, what that is, that's fascinating. I don't know.
Before we go too long, though, and I know we didn't get into your college, how you save so much money to people, but we could do that another time. But since it's something that people need to know about, maybe you can give your contact information.
Yeah, I can mention something real fast. So right now, schools are sending out financial aid award letters to all their students, okay? Regardless if it's your first year or your fourth year. A lot of people don't know this. It's in the portal. It says USC's $82,000. You're getting a $30,000 grant. You're getting this, blah, 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 blah. Well, if you review those, 70% of the time, you can go back and get more money by doing an appeal. A lot of people don't even know that. I literally get people.
They need your expertise. They can't really do it on themselves.
Yeah, so I literally get people $30,000 in just the appeal. So anybody who's listening, kids in college, send me the award letter. I'll review it and see if we can appeal. So it's the easiest way to get a hold of me. I'm known as the FAFSA Pro. That's the free application, Federal Student Aid, FAFSAPro.us. People can just go there.
Go ahead and spell that. Go ahead and spell that.
FAFSA, FAFSA Pro, Pro.us. People who are familiar with college know the FAFSA because that's the application you fill out. But that's what I'm known as the FAFSA Pro. I'm also now on the panel for the state of California when they do their Zoom meetings nationwide. So I've kind of recently added that to the resume, which is pretty cool. So they bring me in as kind of an expert because of what I've done, and I help a lot of people and I help them with this big problem. So thanks, bringing that up.
Yeah, and let me just double that I know that is absolutely true. And I hear of so many people that are in a way wasting money. They don't need to, because these universities, a lot of them have so much money that is earmarked for just that, and you have to know how to get in that ear.
That's it. And it's the poor get poorer. They don't know. 1/3 of Americans don't fill out the financial aid forms for college. 1/3. They don't understand it, qualify. And usually it's a lot of people, English is a second language, right? They don't understand, and we're going to do loans. No, you're the ones who will get like 30, 40, 50 grand a year if you fill out the forms. So, all right, cool.
And you don't have to pay it back for the rest of your life, like so many people are doing with these loans.
Is the free money. Gifts, grants, scholarships. That's the free money.
That's so important for everybody. So important. But remember, before we go, we're just about done, I think. But I need to have you back. I love these conversations.
Oh, good.
I don't know. NASA Nelly just talked about the Aurora thing. We have remember to look up Montauk.
Okay.
And see, because it is, there are some real people that were alive then that were in charge of some of that and give us a lot of information. So we only have a minute left. So remember that. Remember Dr. Mary's monkey, which I will send you. And but the Montauk thing is just amazing, I think, including if you've watched Stranger Things, they have the upside down.
Never seen any of those episodes, so I've been intrigued though. So I need to. Yeah. I started watching the one on the guy from Britain. He was friends with the royal family. A total freaky dude. I don't know if you know who that is.
No, but I'll look, and you can let. To me, the best thing on Netflix is Dark.
Dark. Well, this
Dark.
One came out.
But Stranger Things really brings you into Montauk, and it doesn't admit it, but it is.
That's great. Well, it's very popular.
Yeah. More popular than
your
me.
weekend in beautiful Irvine.
Well, yeah, and have a great. We have to sign off now, but have a great Easter, okay?
I will.
With
My
you,
daughter's birthday today, so she's at Disneyland. We have a birthday
uh,
party tomorrow.
beautiful. We love Disneyland. We'll talk about that another time, but I love talking to you about these conspiracies. It is so. I love it. That's all there is. Anyway, there's the music to pull us off the stage. So we'll see you again soon. And for everyone else, please stay tuned. We'll be back very soon. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.
You've been listening to the Educated Retirement Show.